This is TWiT.
Big story this morning. I actually got up at 6 o'clock, or more like 5:30, because I read this story and I leapt from bed saying, oh, no.
Oh, no, tell me you were dressed. Tell me that, please.
I was dressed. I was
okay,
fully dressed. The EU has filed new antitrust charges against Google, saying its online advertising practices violate antitrust laws. Basically, they're saying your monetization strategy, Google, it's illegal. Google was charged on Wednesday with violating EU antitrust laws by using its dominance in online advertising to undercut rivals. The case brought by the European Commission, according to the New York Times, the executive branch of the 27-nation EU, the fourth time Google's been charged with violating European antitrust laws in recent years. At some point, they're going to stop.
What's amazing, Leo? Is it took them this long to get to the nub of it.
The real issue.
Antitrust wasn't about the browser. It wasn't about search. It wasn't about shopping. It was about advertising.
Yeah.
I've always said that.
The Justice Department brought similar charges in January. It's the online advertising, which I have to say, where Google really does kind of push it with that by being both the seller and the buyer, the controlling both ends. It's kind of a classic antitrust case, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But
it's where they've always been vulnerable because they also have the power of God over it.
Yeah. And I should point out that Google's dominance and success in this field comes at the expense of everybody else who's advertising based. Yesterday, or actually earlier today, Paul Theron on Windows Weekly saying, he can't survive, his website can't survive on ads alone. He needs a club. And frankly, we're kind of in the same boat where our advertising sales have dwindled.
Well, but you don't use Google advertising, Leo.
No, we don't. No, what I'm saying is all our advertisers who come to us, let's say Athletic Greens, our competition is Google Ads.
Yeah.
Not whether we use it. We do use Google Ads, by the way. Of course we do. Everybody does.
Everybody does.
We buy Google Ads to promote the shows.
Even my domain.
Oh, that way. Yeah.
Yeah, but our sponsors are saying, well, should I buy Google Ads where I know exactly who I'm getting? It's an extremely efficient buy. I know, click fraud aside, which I suppose is still a little bit of a problem. But I mean, every medium has that. I can't prove to you that whoever listens to this show heard your ad. They might have gotten up and got a sandwich or fast forwarded. We don't know that.
How dare they?
How dare they? But that's been the problem with advertising forever, right? It's
forever.
the problem with
absolutely forever.
With magazines which assert that the pass around is 7-1 for every, or with TV advertising, they don't know. So, but I think lately agencies and ad buyers are more believe in the digital, because it's digital, right? The accuracy of Google's click rates and all of
metrics.
That stuff.
They can target. They can be more efficient.
Dude, metrics are so useful from a marketing standpoint, though. Yep. It's so powerful when you know where everything is coming from, even down to the hours of the day.
So just stop selling people on Google.
I mean,
you can't tell them any of that stuff.
Oh gosh, even down to like YouTube and knowing when people are watching your videos. Okay, I should publish now because they're going to be looking. Oh, sorry.
Ixnay on the Google game.
We just Athletic Greens is scalded. They say no more. Alphabet made $60 billion in profit last year selling advertising.
That's crazy.
But if
you were going to split up Google, how would you split it up?
Well, that's a good question. I think the first thing you got to do, but the biggest problem to me is that Google both makes the market, and sells the ads.
Yeah.
So, when they bought, was it Overture? When they started buying up all the ad tech companies, that's when the problem began.
Well, DoubleClick.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And so,
Overture was Bill Gross's company at Yahoo.
That went to Microsoft, right? Eventually.
Which caused a huge settlement because Google basically stole the model from Bill.
Right. Oh, really? So they gave him some money.
Yeah.
Did they give him $60 billion?
Not quite.
Then he got ripped off.
Yeah.
Because that's what they made last year.
Man, that's crazy.
With that technology. So, they're really eating up the world. it's tough for everybody else. I think that I've always said Google should be a search engine and just a search engine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they could do ad sales on that, but they shouldn't have YouTube. They shouldn't have content at all, because that's also a conflict of interest. Because in the search results, their content.
Well, if you're going to take that away from,
yeah, they're going to put.
then you're kind of
YouTube
getting
stuff
down
up
to
there.
the marrow. What about something a little less radical, like get rid of either the buy side or the sell side?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Marguerite Vestager, the EVP of the European Commission, said Google is present at almost all levels of the so-called ad tech supply chain. That's exactly what you were saying, right? They do buy and sell.
But I'm with Mr. Jarvis. What took so long for this to come out? Why now?
Because they wanted to go after big bad Google, and the things that were right in front of their eyes were search and browser. The shopping thing was European stupidity. It was what's his name? What's the other service that he always gets mad at Google? I can't remember the name of it. So they went after that silly stuff. The question long ago should have been advertising. I don't think Google should have to get rid of it all, but they clearly do have a iron grip.
Yeah, and it's bad. It's bad for everybody. I mean, it's bad for advertisers too, because there's not a free market. It's bad for everybody who's ad supported, like us and Paul Thurrott, because
Stacey, do you use any Google ad products, even from analytics or whatever?
I think we use analytics.
Yeah, we use analytics too. Yeah. I don't know what the answer is. It's hard to split companies up after the best place to stop them is before they make the acquisitions. Like, stop, don't buy DoubleClick, but too late.
But I guess
Well,
DoubleClick,
is that
you might
fair
have
though?
known.
Is it fair though?
Well, there were
sometimes it's
people
okay.
there. Yeah. I mean, Microsoft, I'm sure we're going to talk about the FTC suing to stop Microsoft from buying Activision.
Yeah.
It's totally fair to be like, hey, this looks like And people actually argued this when Google made some of these acquisitions. They were like, wait a second. And the thing that Google argued that the search market was not a big deal and there was still competition. This is very common across all of these industries.
Yeah.
They argue that it's such a small industry and there's still competition in all these other industries.
So
We don't need to worry about that here. And then voila, it gets big.
Yeah, when Facebook bought Instagram was tiny with like 3 employees and nobody could really see what it was going to be.
I think there were 12.
Okay.
It wasn't very many. No, he's right. It was a handful. It was very small.
But DoubleClick was an important established, and I was saying with YouTube. YouTube was, why are you crazy buying this thing? It's going to cost you a fortune in data communication. You're foolish. But DoubleClick was the one I think that could have been seen. I think you're right.
Sigh. Anyway, the EU and the U.S. Department of Justice both investigating Google. Well, I can't imagine that anything that will significantly change the world will happen. But I guess I feel a little vindicated. The truth is, it hurts Google too, because honestly, Google is not as good a search engine. Am I wrong? But I feel like Google is not as good a search engine as it was.
But in comparison to what now?
Well, yeah,
I mean, why do they need to be any better if the competition isn't necessarily?
Let me look for Ant.
It's the web that, Leo, it's not Google's worse. It's the web that's worse.
You find me, you're gonna get some pretty interesting
Almost
stuff.
always what will happen with Google is is above the fold will not be search results. Search results will end up below the fold.
Mm-hmm.
It's the knowledge box, the YouTube videos, all the other experiences above the fold.
Mm-hmm.
And Google's argument, let's search for something more reasonable, like used cars in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Now I get search results. Look at that.
Yep.
Well, that's
That's interesting.
No.
But again, if you're
I can't read it because it's in dark mode.
Yes, you can. You stop that.
I'll make it bigger.
Don't blame dark mode for your poor
honestly,
vision.
isn't that easier to read?
No.
It hurts my
it's
eyes.
You need to get
not.
better
Okay.
magnification on your
Okay.
readers, Mr. Jarvis.
Rock and roll music. What should I search for?
Gutenberg did not publish on black paper with white ink. Gutenberg published on white paper with black ink, and that's the way God.
There
and
ain't no
Gutenberg wanted
paper
it to
here,
be.
dude. Where's the paper and the ink? Where's the ink?
Jesus.
It's a lighted device beaming light into your
Yeah,
eyes.
you're not using the light. You're
It's
trying to
too
mask
bright.
all the light.
All right,
it makes no
all right.
sense.
Undark it. Where's the dark button?
Bless his heart. Good.
Here you go. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Yay. The
bright.
relief.
That's ridiculous.
So bright. Anyway, I searched for rock and roll music.
Yep.
I got songs. I bet you every one of these songs is from YouTube Music. I got YouTube. I got YouTube. I got YouTube. I got YouTube. I got people also asked. I got YouTube. There's Wikipedia. That's about, that's several scrolls down.
We don't know what the screen is anymore because it's constant.
Well, that's true.
Well, let's think about this from the standpoint of the quote unquote normals. Someone's searching for rock and roll music. They're
That's what
probably
Google
more
says.
apt to click on.
Google
these types
says
of
we want to
things.
give you the answers that you're looking for.
Yeah, which is what people want. They know it from the data.
So, but I honestly, I feel like let me see. More likely, I'm going to say a more likely search is how do I replace the battery in my phone?
And that should bring up a video because nobody wants to read about.
I don't want to watch a
I
video.
never want a video.
I hate
It should
those videos.
I hate
Again,
videos.
So right, Stacey.
but again, you all are not the normal group.
I feel like I'm pretty normal in this. I'm like, oh God, a freaking video. It's
How
gonna
do I
take
find
longer.
an umlaut on the keyboard? Here's a 5-minute video
Yeah,
of a schmuck talking
subscribe.
to us
I mean,
forever.
There's a
If it
reason.
was a
you
video
wanna do
that was like, here's how to change the battery in your phone, it'd be fine. But I got to dig through this guy selling me something.
But there's a reason those videos do really well on TikTok too. It's because nobody wants to read about stuff like that.
TikTok's a video platform. You couldn't read about it.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
No, but I'm
Well, and I'm fine if it gives me if I knew videos, I could get it in like 60 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Great, because that's
Yeah.
about how long it takes me to click, load, and read through
Yes.
to get the
Great.
information.
So I just searched for a UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Ooh.
This is why publishers are kind of mad, right? I'm getting everything I need from Google. I don't need to dig
It's
down.
commodity. Well, because every publisher is going to give you the exact same information as every other publisher, and in an enlightened society, you can't own information.
Okay. So
tough
because
publishers-
information is commoditized now, that
it's always been the case. The information, only the treatment of it, and so if you don't do something special, publisher, then
but if
cookies.
even if you did something special, Google would not put it above the fold. Let's
right.
say
But if you want to really, really read what the Athletic has to say about some sporting thing, then you would go to the Athletic. You might go there directly. You wouldn't go through Google. But there's so little of that in news and media because everybody just wants to use commodity information to get more SEO and clicks and links.
But it was kind of Google that got us there, right? We do that because the only way you could get traffic to your site was through Google. So we game Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Google always said
Start your company with
you're not going to
name
win that way in the
ABC
long run
company
because everybody
Don't
else can do
game
the same
Google.
thing.
Yeah.
to be at the front.
Well,
And Danny Sullivan said,
I don't
do
think
that.
people used to also just we would repeat information because we knew our audience needed it and we didn't know if they were getting it elsewhere. Like most normal people don't visit 30 news sites a day. So I'm just saying that like it's not just all about SEO. Because I used to argue, I'd be like, dude, I've already seen this story in 3 other places. And I'd be like, write it. Our people don't necessarily read those places. I'm like, fine.
the reason you see it in all those other places is because it drives a lot of traffic. So write it. And that's what God made AI for.
Ben Smith wrote about it in Traffic. Is that it's the pursuit of everybody having the same thing, and the great example of the 2-color dress story. Everybody wrote that story,
Right.
adding nothing.
So it became a commodity.
Okay, I'm thinking less about the 2-color dress and more about actual news.
Well, like, should I buy mutual funds? That's, CNET realized all its personal finance stories should be written by robots because,
And that worked well.
yeah. Whoops.
Hey there, Scott Wilkinson here. In case you hadn't heard, Home Theater Geeks is back. Each week, I bring you the latest audio-video news, tips and tricks to get the most out of your AV system, product reviews, and more. You can enjoy Home Theater Geeks only if you're a member of Club TWiT, which costs $7 a month. Or you can subscribe to Home Theater Geeks by itself for only $2.99 a month. I hope you'll join me for a weekly dose of home theater geekitude.